So, hello everybody, and welcome to our SoulFull Sunday series. We've got another amazing practitioner in our chair today. I am Cheryl-lya from Wellbeing Showcase, and so thrilled to be able to have Suzan Wells in the chair today. Suzan is an amazing yoga teacher. She's a transformation coach and an amazing all-round healer who is doing some fantastic work around parents of children with addictions, and we're going to talk a little bit about that today. So Suzan, welcome and thank you for being with us today.
Thank you, Cheryl-lya.
So Suzan, tell us a little bit about yourself and a little bit about the work that you're doing at the moment.
Yeah, well, I think it all started the day I put diesel in a petrol car, and then I realised that, I was so stressed that something had to change. I was living as a single parent with two teenagers, one of them experimenting with all sorts of things, and it was like our world was spiraling out of control. So that moment I put the diesel in the car, I knew something had to change. And I went along to a local gym and I found yoga. And it was a very gentle, mindful yoga. And it's the first time where I could breathe. And I realized that just how stressed I'd been. So anyway, long story short, I did the training, I did some more training, and then I found the world of healing and all sorts of interesting modalities. And I started the journey of unpicking and unraveling my life and my story. And that's when things began to change. And I came away from specific modalities and methodologies and started to use my intuition and to use lots of ancient and cutting edge ideas, but in a way that just worked for me, because I'd had so much stuff and sessions, but actually I was still stuck with certain issues in my life, and I felt much better, but I still had the same thing. So yeah, that's what brought me to the point where I decided that it was time to share what I'd learned and these new ideas with other people, because it's very, very difficult when you're a parent of an addict, because there's so much stigma and shame around. People don't talk about it, and what's available out there seems to be either one-to-one therapy or 12-step programs. So, I'm not discounting any of those. They're very valuable and they've supported, probably millions of people over the year. But now I think with how things are changing, it's great if we can add to that and we can start working holistically. We can see the link and we can see the bigger picture. And ultimately, we all are on our own version of life with its flavors and coloring of suffering. And yeah, that's our purpose, to navigate our way through it.
Yeah. And it's not an easy journey, and I think, especially when you are a parent and you have a child, any parent who has a child really, and especially parents who have children who are struggling, with their own personal lives. It takes a lot of courage to sort of recognize that and to be able to do something about it. And I think a lot of people don't realize that support is so much of a step that sort of helps somebody transform in leaps and bounds. And a lot of people try and do things on their own or struggle on their own, when reaching out to somebody like you can do so much more for them as a parent and for their child. And what would be sort of the kind of things that sort of would draw people to you, that, you know, or would be going through their minds, that they can sort of stop and think, that's what I'm thinking of, let me reach out and ask for help?
Yeah, very interesting. So what sort of challenge would they be experiencing? Oh, well, just like anything, you know, there's many variations, but we do share some common things. So I think there's often a great feeling of sadness. Now, I've been doing some research, and that's one that comes up a lot with people. Anxiety. I mean, that's what led me to put the wrong fuel in my car. And there's also, it's more of a behavior, but often people have started withdrawing from life in some way because they don't really want to talk about it because nobody gets it. And then there's the whole putting the life on hold, because it's like, what's going to happen next? And, you know, that's something that's, you know, really, really heavy and really painful. And then ultimately, you know, a complete feeling of helplessness, you know, that it's too big to overcome. But you don't overcome it all at once. Just like anything, we can just do it step by step. And for me, it started with breathing. But for you, it may start with something slightly different, and that's fine.
It's really interesting because you mentioned breathing, and that's sort of something everyone does if every moment of every day, but you don't sort of think about it in terms of how it can help somebody. And, you know, how would that help somebody?
Yeah, great question. So, yeah, we do it automatically, don't we? It's something, yeah. But what happens when we're anxious in particular is that the breath starts to become very high. So we're not breathing in fully. It becomes very short. And it's linked with the stress symptoms, the fight or flight or freeze thing. So we're almost on alert the whole time, and the breath is ready, that breath, and we're off type of thing. Whereas just being conscious of your breath and noticing it like that is a great result. So when we notice, it's not, oh my goodness, I've got that breath she said wasn't good. It's like we've noticed them before. We were completely oblivious. So, you know, we start with our little successes. And then we can just have a big sigh out. And then there's more room for the breath to come in. And it's something as simple as 3 conscious breaths can change our state instantly. And as you inferred, you know, we can breathe anywhere. You know, we do it all the time, but we can just have that awareness, whatever situation we're in. It creates some space. Yeah, so some space where we can respond instead of that automatic reaction and that getting involved in the drama, because there's a lot of drama around. Well, there was for me, and it can become our norm. So it just gives us the space. And then at some point, we can just start watching the breath, and we can perhaps put our hands on our tummy and just gently feel as the out breath comes. And the hands will move down slightly. And then as we breathe in, the hands will expand, and we start to increase the length of the breath. And then that obviously brings the oxygen and all the vital nutrients. It also brings in life force energy. And we switch from the stress to the rest and digest system. And that literally happens because when we're ready to run and fight, we don't need the digestive system or the immune system or any of those things. So, you know, just being with the breath can be beneficial on so many levels.
That is amazing. And it's so good to know that it's something as a starting point. And, you know, obviously there is a lot more to your work. It's, yes, you can't sort of say at the moment now, yes, you know, all the problems are solved with breathing, but it sounds like there's a safe space that you're creating so people can come and explore what's happening with themselves as a parent, or how they relating to their child, and how to sort of navigate that world of addiction, so that everybody comes out in a better state.
Absolutely. And the more we can do to put ourselves in a position where we've got some space, where we're not compressed by the anxiety, the sadness, then we've got the possibility of change. But while we're running and fighting and stressing and blah, 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 it's very hard to say, now just have a little think about what you did and how you do this, and perhaps there's a new way to do it. Really, let's set ourselves up for success is always my motto. Make it easy and go for success, and celebrate the little steps. So important.
Absolutely. And just on that note, I sort of feel like, that celebration, that those successes, those coming through. If a parent of a child with an addiction is looking for that kind of space, is looking, to sort of have that sense of relief of going, I'm okay, I'm looked after, here's a space where I can be successful, my child can be happy, and we're all happy. How would they get in touch with you?
Okay, well, I like the old way, so I would like them to just phone me. Do you want me to tell you the number? Or do you put that out later?
We might put that in the comments a little bit later, but if you maybe get to your website.
Yeah, well, my website's under construction, so it will be out hopefully within the next 6 weeks. I'm having the photos done imminently, so that will be ready to come soon. Or they can email me.
So what's the email address?
It's a bit long. Suzan, Suzan, at Suzan Joy, Joy Wells, WELLS.co.uk.
Suzan at SuzanJoyWells.co.uk.
That's it. Great. Good memory.
Yeah. So, just sort of thinking, we've gone on this beautiful journey where, we've got loads of therapies and ways of helping people. You focusing on parents of children with addictions, and you've got this great space that they can come and transform and be themselves in. We know how to contact you. So the last thing I want to say is, sort of for anybody who's watching, what would be that sort of one pearl of wisdom that you would leave them with today?
Anything is possible. There's a whole world of different ideas when we look in a different direction. And I'm very happy to share and guide whoever feels they'll benefit with that.
That is so beautiful. Thank you so much for your time today. It's been fantastic.
You're welcome. Thank you for inviting me along. It's been great.
My pleasure. We'll see you soon.
Thank you. Bye.